Our Chase team has reached Roman Waschuk in Kyiv. He's a former Canadian ambassador to Ukraine. He's also held a diplomatic position in Berlin. So great to talk about Ukraine and about Germany. He now serves, by the way, as the bizness-ombudsman of Ukraine. Roman, you saw that news conference. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz is here in Canada. They were in Montreal, the Prime Minister and himself, talking about energy options that Germany could face. What do you make of the relationship that Germany and Canada are trying to forge over energy that could be, many, many years down the road?
Indeed. I mean, there have been missed opportunities in German energy policy, which misguidedly banked it all on Russia, and in terms of Canadian policy, which didn't really think about globalizing our ways of supplying things like liquid natural gas. I, in fact, remember looking at ideas, 4, 5, 6 years ago, where people were suggesting using Saguenay electricity to liquefy gas for shipment to Europe. And there was generally the idea that, nah, too complicated, never get the permitting for that, etc. So both countries now need to talk about the medium term because they haven't given themselves the tools for short-term responses.
Now, you also, held positions in Germany. I want your take on the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and his discussion with our Prime Minister, suggesting that Germany is going to be able to make it to the end of the next year by, allowing coal plants to fire up again, by allowing companies to switch back to oil, getting more gas from the Netherlands and Norway, but also from Russia. In what deep doo-doo is Germany right now as it looks ahead to keeping its people warm?
I think Germans are very prudent people, and they've already been quietly laying in supplies. I think they're, in terms of filling up their gas reserves, they're at something like 77, 78% for the winter heating season. So it won't be sudden disaster for Germany. But they're also, caught in past decisions. One of the things that's happening at the end of this calendar year is that Germany's 3 remaining nuclear plants are going to be shut off, despite the fact that they actually produce carbon neutral, negative for that matter, energy, but because of what are fundamentally Green Party and German societal fears after Fukushima, they are literally throwing that capacity away. So people live within the political parameters they've set for themselves. In Canada, it means that it's virtually impossible to get any big project done in less than a decade. In Germany, it means you've made choices that kind of constrict what you do, and you end up with the dirtiest option. They are literally going back to brown coal, which is about the most carbon unfriendly fuel you could possibly use.
Yes, and you know what? There is a necessity behind all of that. I want to look ahead as well to Wednesday, Roman. That will mark 6 months since the invasion of Ukraine by Russia. I know you're on the ground in Kyiv. Let me ask you, with what sense of worry do you approach Wednesday, and what are you feeling in the city around you?
Yeah. Well, I think people are concerned about whether Russia will want to make some sort of symbolic strike. Given everything else that's happened in 6 months, it would not make much military sense, or for that matter, diplomatic sense. But Russia is not rational, and Putin is not rational when it comes to Ukraine. On the other hand, there's a sense of Russia also being demystified. Viewers may have seen the parade of destroyed Russian tanks and artillery on Kyiv's main boulevard. So Ukrainians are looking at it and they're kind of saying, we can destroy this, we can do this. So what I sense is that people are considerably more sure of themselves than they were back in February, when the future looked really, really uncertain. They realize there are challenges, but they've shown they can persevere. And now, as Crimean beachgoers are discovering, they can give the Russians a taste of what has been visited upon Ukraine.
We'll all be watching. We certainly have some special interviews and coverage planned here on CBC News Network. And Roman, we will talk again. You be well, okay?
I'll do my very best.
Roman Waschuk in Kyiv. He's a former Canadian ambassador to Ukraine.